Hey guys, how's it going? We're back. 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks, we're going to try and do a live stream. So today, I'm going to be looking at creating an arm. So I'm going to try and use a couple of tricks that I learned from the Toon Boom rigging course. We're going to try and get through it and hopefully add some constraints. But I really want to focus on kind of an arm like this with like a sleeve that kind of hangs down like a robe and kind of an arm that sticks out as well. Hello. If you guys can see. There's Marlo. Hello, Marlo. Okay, let's get into this. So it might be a little bit slow going at first because there's a specific way I want to do the cuffs, and I can't really remember how to do it, but we'll figure it out. So first things first, this is what I like to start with. These are all just blank notes: hand, wrist, forearm, elbow, sleeve down, sleeve up. And this is a perfect circle guide that I made. So it's just here. It tells me where to put my pivot points. And these straight lines are going to help me guide where I create the artwork so it fits with my constraints. So what we're going to do, I'm going to select everything, copy, and let's start with our elbow and paste. Okay, I can turn this off now. I don't need it. Using this, I'm going to select everything and kind of just move it to where I want my elbow joint to be. Now, I'm going to do it with the whole sleeve. And if you guys can't see, let me know. I'll zoom in. I'll try and zoom in as much as I can. Okay. So we're just going to line this up with kind of an imaginary line. I want the arm to not be too big. That seems okay. I'm using the arrow keys to kind of move it down. And I want to kind of get it in line with my guide as much as I can. Maybe a little smaller. Just shift it over. Okay, now let's do the wrist. So I'm going to select everything again from my elbow, copy, go to my wrist, paste. And same kind of deal, but this time I'm going to match it to this. Right? This can kind of take a little bit of time. You really want to kind of get it perfect here. I'm holding Alt and Shift, so everything kind of expands like that at once. A little bit over, a little bit down with the arrow keys. Okay, 2 points. And then the shoulder, it's not really as important to get a perfect bend on the shoulder, so we can kind of just leave that for now. So I'm going to go on the wrist, the peg, use this button here, and I'm going to move my pivot point. Oops. Try that again. Right to where I marked it. So I went through another video. I'm going to record that as well of me making this guide because it is pretty useful. And it does take kind of a long time to set up. So you want to kind of have it done beforehand. Okay, so now that I see it, maybe I'm going to rotate this a little bit more that way. Okay. Okay, so now let's do the forearm, or let's do the sleeve down first. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my elbow and grab just the line art now. This circle, I'll go sleeve down, paste. And now leaving these where they are, right? It's the same. I'm just going to kind of grab it with my white arrow tool and kind of just move it into place. I didn't really draw this part, so I'm going to guesstimate. But the most important thing is I want to keep these 2 points where they are, because those are exactly on the same spot of the circle of the elbow joint. So I can kind of get away with a lot of modifications as long as I kind of keep those 2 points where they are. Okay. And then for here, the top, I'm going to just delete these 3 points. Click this, and using Alt, I'm going to break the handle and match it up with my horizontal line here. Right, as much as we can, holding Alt. And this just makes it so we see that elbow when the arm bends, and we're not going to have to really use any auto patching to kind of get those overlapping lines. Okay, sleeve down. Let's do sleeve up. Now we're going to go the other way. So elbow, copy, paste. And now, same thing. Now we're going to leave these. And let's start moving, oops. And let's start moving this up. Right, so shoulder, we don't have to be too careful. I'm just going to get that in. Right, we can kind of taper this in a little bit more. Just like that. And just like the forearm, we're going to delete these points. So 1, 2, 3. And then we should have it like this, matching our guidelines. So now, so far, if we throw a display, I'll show you guys. And we put our pivot points in the right spot. So the elbow, I'm going to have that the same pivot point. The sleeve up doesn't really matter where it is. Okay, but you'll see if I rotate, oops, make sure I have the pivot points in the right spot. If I rotate this, see how it follows perfectly the circle? That's exactly what we want. And it works if I move it backwards in Z depth. It still follows. Okay, so let's reset this peg. We're on the right track. Things are looking pretty good. Now, for the forearm, I'm not going to have it go all the way up. What I'm going to do is actually, I'm going to select all of this, copy, go to my forearm, paste, and kind of just move it up somewhere here. Right, so it just needs to be just past the sleeve, but it doesn't need to be all the way down. Okay, for the wrist, I'm going to copy the wrist, paste, and now watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to intersect these 2 things. I'll use my cutter tool. I'm holding T to swipe it away. Now we select and press this button right here to merge these shapes. All right, so I go here, here, delete the points to get that perfect arm shape. And if we want to, we can kind of do the same thing because we have a wrist. I'm just going to cut this in half. But for here, that's fine. And we can just use our guide to move that pivot point where we want to. This one, again, just like the shoulder, not too important because it's going to be hidden. But, why not? Okay, wrist. And for the hand, we're just going to do a placeholder. So I'm going to grab the wrist, copy it again. And I'm just going to use these guides. As long as I keep these dots the same, my hand should line up perfectly. So I'm just going to do a rough hand. We can always do it later, like create the actual hands. But for now, that should do it, right? Okay. So far, so good. Let's throw that display on again. And let's hook up the hierarchy. I want to make sure that's working before I start coloring it in and really working on the cuff and the sleeve. That's what I really want to get done. So we got the hand and the wrist. They're going to have the same pivot point, right? Just like that. And I can go connect those two. We'll call it hand, wrist. The forearm. Is here. I'll throw another peg and there we go. We'll call this forearm master. This is going to have the same pivot point. Same with this. Sure, what I might do is I might connect. I might switch the pivot point of the forearm because I want it to rotate around this. So let's say I do it like this. I put the same pivot point as the wrist. There we go. And then when I step up, yeah, I kind of like that. That's why it keeps it around the wrist. Sleeve down. Let's go sleeve down master and connect it to our forearm. So now, if I have the same pivot point, it controls everything, right? And if I'm going too fast, guys, or you miss something because the screen size is pretty small, just post it in the chat and I can go back. Okay, let's reset. Now here, sleeve up. This is just going to be our arm master. Plug that in. And then here, I'm going to plug the elbow in. I don't want to plug it into this because I kind of want it to stay put unless I really want to move it itself. Okay, let's copy this and paste it there. So this is how our hierarchy looks, guys. Each one has its own peg first, and then we kind of step up and build on top of that. Right? So if we step down, we can move like this. We can step down, move to the wrist, step down, move to the wrist. Not bad. Just chill. How's it going? When selecting a peg, what key do you press to move up or down? So to move up, you press B. So I can just click here on my camera view, anything, and I press B. Watch how the peg highlights to step up the hierarchy. So I press B again. Now I'm here. B again, now I'm here. B again, now I'm here. And if I press Shift B, I go back down, right? So it's very fast to kind of step through. It's pretty much a necessity if you're animating. Okay. Okay, so the hierarchy is looking good, guys. Now, let's get rid of these guides. We don't need the guides anymore. So they're all on the underlay. So I'm just going to go here. Delete. Delete. I always delete the guides last because, you know, if you need them, you can't get them back. There we go. Now let's start filling it in with some color. Okay, so I like to rig arms like this now because one, you don't need an auto patch to kind of do the bends, which kind of saves a little bit of space. It doesn't make your rig as heavy. And if you want to add constraints, your arm kind of needs to be set up like this anyway. So I kind of like to do it now like this. So let's add some color. I'm going to do it on the color art layer. We'll just fill in the hand. The wrist on the color art layer, we'll fill in the wrist. We can kind of fill in that dot. Forearm, fill that in. Elbow is going to be, I'm going to guess it's this overshirt color. No. Yeah, I guess it's this one. Actually, did I ever? Maybe I didn't select that color. I'm just going to create a new color and call this robe. We can change it after. Just chill says thank you. No problem. Are you new to using Toon Boom? Anyone use Toon Boom 25 yet? I hear there's some big changes in that one. Sleeve down. We got this. Sleeve up. We got this. Okay, now let's shift these things around. See how like the elbow's in front, this is in behind. We don't want that. So elbow is going to go behind. I want my sleeve to be in front of my forearm. Okay. Can move this down. Right, and see, so the shape is good, even though it's not like perfectly straight. The elbow still works, which is nice. Okay, so next steps, guys. Let's hand. Do I want the hand behind the wrist? No, we want the hand in front of the wrist. And actually, so the hand, I kind of messed this up, but it's fine. I should have actually had this part flat, but it's okay. It's not the worst thing. I just need a little bit more space now because we're going to start adding some more nodes. I tried the trial version, cut things out pretty quick. Just wanted to know about some shortcuts to make the rig faster. Yeah. And eventually, I like to set my own shortcuts too, so you just get used to them. I think I have two main shortcuts that I set up myself that really help speed things up. Kelly Johnson. How are you, man? How's Moho coming? I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Thanks for asking. Okay, let's move this. Let's move this. So in this case now, from what I remember, we actually delete this line, right? We don't need to auto patch. We're just going to delete it. And then here's kind of where the magic happens with this. When we rotate, see that? We kind of get a free, I'll zoom in because it's dark. We get a free overlapping line without any auto patching. If I move it here, like this should be behind. It is behind. There we go. So if the elbow is behind everything, then we can kind of move this up and down. And look at that. We have a free overlapping line either way, and we didn't have to auto patch. So it's just how it's set up. Let me reset this. Let me reset that. Right, and sometimes you might have to move this elbow forward and back in Z depth, but that's fine. No big deal. Kelly Johnson. Oh, nice, dude. Thanks, man. Super chat. Doing Blender and Larry Moore at the moment. Nice. Honestly, man, I feel that might be the better way to go. Toon Boom is getting crazy expensive now. Feels like cheating auto patch. Yeah. So you still can, if you want to, like if these lines need to be tapered, if you want to taper these, then you still need to auto patch, but you just auto patch it to the elbow, right? So it's still simpler, even if you need to auto patch. This case, though, I don't think we need to do it. Blender Moho. Okay. Now is the hard part because I don't really remember how to do it. So this is kind of our guide here. This is what I want. You have this thing. It cuts the wrist, but it's inside the cuff. And that would be perfect because let's say this is a long sleeve, right? It's a lot easier without the rig breaking to get these more dramatic angles. So that's what we're trying to do today. And if we figure this out, then we can move on to constraints. So I'm going to try and deconstruct this. I know they showed us how to do this in the lesson, but I forget. So we'll try and figure it out. I've got a model that has vertical stripes on their socks, and I've read online that most animators avoid vertical stripes while rigging. Yeah, see if you can change it. See if you can change it to horizontal stripes or something. Vertical stripes, they're annoying to do, but it's not really the end of the world. But if you can, a lot of rigging too, before you start, you can kind of ask the design people to change certain things if it's not too bad. Like I feel that in that case, it might be easier to change it than try and, rig it. And it's more for the animators, not the riggers. Because it gets annoying when you're animating. Okay. So we have our sleeve interior. Plug that in here. Throw a peg on it. And I feel I want it to be attached to my sleeve down. Okay. Let's draw it in. I just want to see what they did. So when they drew it, it's literally just a circle. Just a circle. And they have deformers on it. Okay. So let's try that, guys. Circle. We could do that. Easy. And I'm going to fill it with black. Okay, let's get that in. Now, I think we're going to have to separate the line art and the color art. Okay? Because this node view is very, very confusing for me. So let's start up here. Just focus on this. They have the cuff and the arm. So in our case, the cuff is going to be our lower arm, our lower sleeve. Okay? Remember that. So they separate, watch, these are just art layers. Okay? And let's see how they did it. Line art, color art, nothing on the overlay, nothing on the underlay. Don't need this. Cuff interior. Ah, okay. So there's this on the overlay, line art, color art, nothing on the underlay. Okay, so let's do that and let's separate them into their line art and color art nodes. All right, so let's bring them close together, sleeve down. We could do this, we could do this, we could do this. And I'll bring in, guys, I won't group it so we can kind of see what's going on. I used to like groups. Now, you know, I'm kind of getting used to not grouping things. It's weird how that happens, eh? Auto patch ungrouped. So I just made this before. This is the auto patch group, but just regular nodes. So sleeve, overlay, line art, auto patch, color art. We don't need an underlay. Okay. And let's move everything this way. We need some more space. Just gonna backdrop these so we can kind of see where they are. We'll call this auto patch nodes. And let's duplicate them so I can put them here on my sleeve down. 2, 3. And we're going to plug this right in there. And I'll just extend this to cover both. All right. We seem to be in business, guys. Now, what do they do with these nodes is the problem. So it looks like, right, this is the line art. This is the color art. The line art is being cut by the color art, right? It's inverse cutting because we need it inside that. Okay, fine. So let's get rid of this auto patch. I don't need the auto patch. I'm going to invert this. Color art. And then I think they do it for the color art as well. But then this color art also cuts this line art. Okay. What on earth? I remember doing this in the lesson. I was like, what? And then it just worked. I was like, okay. What I'm going to do too, I'm going to put these in a composite. So I can just kind of see where things are going. Okay. Now we need a cutter for this line art. Yes. But look, so here the line art also goes down into this composite. So if we go here, I need to feed the line art and the color art here, while this line art is being inversely cut by this color art. Okay. Oh my goodness. I don't even know if I'm doing this right. And then for the overlay, I'm just going to delete the overlay. We don't need this right now. It's just kind of getting in the way and messing us up. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. Now, where, guys, does this go? This goes, this is also being cut. So we cut the line and color art again. All right. Good night, Cassandra. Thanks for joining. I know we didn't really make any progress, but it was nice to have you on nevertheless. All right. Cutter combine. I need this to go down. And then where does it plug into? It plugs into another composite, and this is our main one. And we need our line art in front. Okay, 1. We'll go 2. And then just plug this in there. Okay. So this was being cut by the color art. All right. Color art coming in. And then line art, but after the line art is cut. Oh my God, this is very confusing. And it goes right in there. So we're going to take this out and plug it in here. It has to be in front. I mean, we could probably get away with it even more because it's just a black, it's just a black circle. So we don't even really have to separate the line art and the color art. There he is, Nicholas. How are you, man? ¿Cómo estás? You made it this time. We've only been doing this for half an hour, so we got a while to go. There he is, Haven Art. How are you, my friend? How you been? Working away, eh? Probably, I'm guessing. Always sharing some cool stuff on the thing, on the channel. The Discord is what I'm trying to say. Okay. So that's that. We have this. Now, what is this? So we see this is the color art, and this is the line art. Yeah, so we got to move this line art as well. See, yeah, I have my color art plugged in an extra time. I don't think we need this. But we do need this in front. There we go. See that? Look at that. So there. Now that's in front. This line is good because we had this plugged in here, which kind of was doing this. So that's good. Right? Just a lot of things to keep track of. Time, so I'm fine. Yeah, exactly. We were waiting for you. Right now for a restaurant commercial. Nice, dude. Haven Art is the king of getting work, which is good. He's probably one of the most employable freelancers I know. Okay. So I think this is set up, guys. Something. Let's go back here. So we have this. We have this set up. Where does this go? We need another composite, and then it goes behind the main composite. That's going to be important. So I need another composite, and then this plugs behind that. So I think our sleeve thing is set up. Watch, like, look, this is what I want. Okay. Now, how do we cut the forearm to be inside this, but behind that? That's the key right now. So let's look. What happens? What happens? What happens? Wrist, arm, just like we have. Line art, color art. Manual patch. What's that? I just lost my place. Do I have to do something with this? Let's see what they got in here. Yeah, I just started to do it. I think I'm gonna do it in most of my rigs. I like it for legs. Um, maybe not so much for the arms. I don't really need it as much for the arms, but the way you set up the arms, I like better than what I used to. It's more accurate. Oh, come on, yeah. Well, knock on wood. Don't worry, you're safe. They are fun though, constraints, especially, even more so constraints, but I like limits. Limits are really useful in rigs. So we have overlay, we have line art, we have color art, and we don't have anything on the underlay. I don't know what this manual patch is. This is just like an auto patch, but they did it themselves. Like, this is what an auto patch is. So I'll just get an auto patch. Okay. Gotcha. Let's go here. Get rid of this. And then these nodes, same thing. So let's find our forearm. Wrist. Okay, let's move them to the side so we can kind of get our bearings. And like, this is kind of how I learned to rig. You get rigs and you just deconstruct them. You break it down. You kind of go step by step, even if you don't really understand what's going on. It helps. By the end, you're like, okay, I'm starting to kind of understand a little more. Okay, so this is this. This is our forearm. And for the wrist, he also split it up into overlay, underlay. Oh, shit. Okay. We're going to duplicate these again. Right, and I guess if I was more familiar with this process, I would probably group these. But it's nice to see all the nodes laid out in front of me. Here, so you guys can see. Right, it helps me kind of keep track of where things go. Okay, let's go like this. Let's go like this. Auto patch nodes. I just like to keep them all grouped so I can kind of move them if I need to. Save it. Okay. So those aren't plugged in yet because we need two comps. So the wrist has its own comp for its line and color. Okay, that's fair. That's the, oops, that's the wrist. Line and color. We don't need the overlay. Get rid of that. And then the screen, whatever arm, has a comp. The overlay is getting cut. But the overlay is it's an overlapping line. We don't have that right now. So we might not need that. We just care about the line art and the color art. So same thing. Line art, color art. I'm just going to swap this position again, just so it mirrors the rig a little bit better. Okay. And now this, what the hell is this being cut by? The hand. So it seems that it's just auto patching the hand. I don't know if that has anything to do with what we want, though. I guess we're auto patching the hand too. Yeah, I knew this was going to be the toughest part, but it's really useful, especially if you get the system made. Then you can kind of just reuse everything. Kyle, how's it going? Have you been? Yeah, have you guys been? It's been a long time anyway since I've been doing these streams. I've been 2 weeks ago we did one, but it was like an hour. So this is our first legit like back in action stream. Yeah, how's everybody been? Keeping busy, getting some work, doing some personal projects. What are you guys doing? Okay. So this is the most important. We need a comp, and they both plug into the comp. So here, 1, 2. And then where does this comp go? This goes here. 1, 2. There. Something's wrong here, though. Okay, so we're missing something. Where does the hand go? The hand goes there. Okay, so the hand goes here. Right, so now we have all of these visible, but this is still not working. So if we auto patch this, and I think it's not working because you got to cross auto patch it. There you go. Right, our hand is auto patched. Fine, that's fair. Hey. I'm missing a key step. Right, these are just auto patches for the wrist and the arm. I think Well, if we think about this, all we need is for actually, I don't even know what we need, to be honest. Okay, that's this, that's that, that's the auto patch. It's something we're missing here. Because there's not even any Z depth going on. It's just with the lines. So what happens if we turn this off? So if we turn this off, this is the key right here. So our line art has to be cut by the color art. So we did that though. Oh, maybe because there's no line art? Oh no, there is, there is. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it comes in Harmony 24. I don't think they created it for the course. Okay. Inverse cut by the color art. Okay, so that is fine. That is right. Now this is the color art, right? And we have that too. Okay. We're missing something, guys. And then this just keeps the line there, I think. Yeah. We have something is probably plugged in to twice. That's this comp right here. So I'm going to actually rename this too. We'll go cuff composite. All right. That's there. Now here, we cut the cuff composite with our color art. Being cut with color art. That's exactly what we want. Now, here's the trick. These need to be kind of crossed, which they are. Cuff in composite. Just like there. So we're on the right track. We're doing everything right. So this is a bitmap. I wonder if that makes a difference. Okay. Those are pass through. Now here, arm cuff in composite. There. Arm cuff in composite. Cuff full composite. Okay. So we're doing it right. Cuff full composite. I think I'm missing just one little thing though. If you guys spot it, let me know. So this is the cuff in line art goes in front of this. Goes in front. Oops. Now this goes in front. Arm cuff composite. Arm cuff composite. Okay. Oh, something. This is interesting. Why is this connected here? I don't think we need that. We're still not getting what we want, though. That's the sleeve, so we don't care about that. Wait, what happens if... What on earth? Okay, so that's set up. Can we agree that's set up the right way? If we can't figure this out, I'll just try and do the constraints, and then I'll just try and do this off camera because it's gonna take me all night, guys. What does this do? That's that. Which is let's get rid of the overlay. Let's get rid of the underlay. No, there we go. So just the color art and line art. Okay. Shit. Okay, let's see. Fucking hell, guys. What if I just go like this? Ah. It was just, I just had to move it forward in Z depth. There you go. So that works. That's exactly what we want. The line doesn't actually seem to be thin. How the... You don't even know. There. That's probably one of the best ways to rig a like this, guys. So I'm gonna have to break down the actual. I think the main thing is that these composites. So if I were to do this again, I would create the composites first because that's the key. That's you need to know where to plug thing in. You can even create it and then use it as a template. Right, and then we reset this. I don't know why though. I have to put it forward in Z depth. It should already be forward. That's one of the strange things. That's kind of bugging me a little bit. But who cares? It works. It works. Right, and we can move this. You can move this down. There we go. I like that. So now to take this one step further, before we do the constraints, let's throw on some deformers to each of these pieces. So not the hand, but I'm going to start on the end and just throw a display on. Maybe I'll even get rid of this. And we'll go create envelope. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 points should be fine. Sometimes you might need to adjust. Yeah, so for work, I needed to kind of figure out a way to rig like a wizard character. So this is actually really helpful um, in terms of that. So my sleeve interior, let's do 4 points, but I'm gonna adjust these points. I want them to be kind of here. I want them to be there, here. So yeah, this is actually really helpful though. I'm gonna use this in my work tomorrow. I was gonna work tonight, but I figured, hey, I might as well, struggle on camera, get some streaming in, and then also figure out how to do that job. Okay, there we go. Sleeve up, kind of the same thing. We'll do 4. Yeah, so I mean, like, it is a little complicated to do the sleeve like that. You very well could just add a back part of the sleeve. But this way, I find for those more extreme angles, you know how sometimes Toon Boom's deformers like break? They kind of like, if you squish them too much, they kind of show like the color bleeds out. Super annoying, but they could have fixed that instead of adding all these new uh, deformer types. But you got to deal with the program, right? That's how it works. Okay, shit. I am old and feeble, and in my sickness lie. Perfect. Here. Nice, guys. There we go. So far we got Harry Potter's head. I want to finish these characters in time for the show to come out. And then once these rigs are done, all members, of course, just like always, you guys get access to all these. All right, so let's see. Everything has deformers on them. The last thing we can do, if you go here, watch. We'll take this deformer point. So if you click it, you can press O and actually zoom in on it. And if you take the tool properties, and then I'll take this deformer point, you guys can see, right up here, tool properties, and I click these buttons to kind of gray out the values. If you guys can see, I can't zoom in. You go copy function link, paste the X and Y. I click this sidebar, copy function link, paste. So now watch what happens. When I move this, oh, look at that. They move together. So, that's a small thing that you can do in your rigs, but it's like super useful. And, if you're making a rigging portfolio, it's pretty advanced stuff to be able to copy and paste function links. So it's a good thing to have in your portfolio. It's easy to do, and it shows you really understand the software. Yes, technology. Right, so same thing. Actually, let me save this. Copy, paste, copy, paste. There you go. Did you guys hear Toon Boom has a lot of AI stuff now coming out with their Toon Boom Ember? What do you guys think about that? Oh, that looks so good. Right? And then whatever, you just move that. Oh, wow. So I actually learned something from the Toon Boom course. Who would have thought? Okay, so this is ready for constraints. Now, so I ran into this problem on the Jon Snow rig on the legs. I did the constraints and then I cloned it and flipped it. And then the constraints were all messed up. So I had to redo the leg. So in this case, though, what I'm going to try and do I'm gonna clone and flip it now. My God, there are a lot of composites here for no reason. And that way, I might have to do the constraints twice. I'm just gonna backdrop here, but at least I don't have to do the whole leg. So we'll go collar. Oh man, I'm so happy I figured that out. I mean, I don't really know how we did it, but we did it. Yeah, so I really got to go into guys and kind of deal with all these composites. This rig is a mess right now. This is an arm master. I always like to do this as well. You just add a little thing. Arm master. For all the master pegs, I'm starting to do this. So I can see it from so far. Okay, this is fine. All our pivot points are fine. I'm just going to go in and kind of clean up the node view a little bit, maybe. Don't need this comp. And sometimes you might not have time to clean it up like this, but it's always nice to have a neat node view, you know? Okay, like we can kind of put all of these nodes in the same line. Like I swear I don't have OCD, but when it comes to the node view, I kind of do. All right, we have this, we have this. Like it does help the animators, you know, if things are organized and you can kind of see where they are. As an animator myself, I really appreciate it when the riggers go in and clean up everything and label everything. So I don't have to fucking search for all these nodes. Oops. You can even add a waypoint. Move it. Save that. Okay. All right, bring these up. And then lastly, we grab all of this. I'm going to go insert backdrop. Call this back arm. Oh, sorry. This should just be here. So I don't know where my reference went. Did I turn that off? Okay, so we're not going to duplicate the arm because I can't find my reference. Head full. That's that. Maybe it's one of these. Color card. Ah, here we go. I just had it unplugged. Okay, so now we can actually. So let's go here. We're going to clone drawings only. Right? So you don't need to group it to clone it. right? As long as it's in a backdrop, it's still pretty easy to do. There. Find my master peg. And we will flip it. Right, we want it almost perfect. And let's put in our static transformation. 1, 2, 3. Bake immediate parent. You'll know you did it right if it flips back, and press R to reset. And then we move our pivot point there. So now we have 2 arms, guys. Oh, look at that. I don't know what skin palette I used, but that is not the right one. It's okay, though. Since we cloned it, we can go in. And look at that, guys. It updates right away. Oh, it's looking good. That's looking good. I'm actually so happy we rigged the arms this way. I was so stuck on how to rig big sleeves like this. Okay, now let's add some constraints. So with constraints, you're probably going to have to kind of like rethink some of this hierarchy. I'm going to move that there. And also what I'm going to do, guys, I need to open up my Jon Snow rig. I need that as a guide. I can't exactly remember the there's settings that you have to put your constraints on, and I can't exactly remember the settings that I used. So I'm gonna open up Jon Snow. I think I could just do this one. Give that a second to load. What do you guys think so far of this method? It's a little complicated. Oh, thanks, dude. I mean, I'm not a character designer at all, but I kind of really like how this turned out. His hair, like I could see some pretty cool animations with this. Oh, I didn't do the mouth yet. You guys have to remind me though at the end too. I gotta, because look, we have some texture on this line. I gotta make sure there's texture on the arm. Yeah, right. I think so. I think especially if you're gonna have long wizard sleeves, this is probably the best way to do it. If you don't have long wizard sleeves, then it's kind of a waste of time. You don't need to do it. Because like you're not going to need to, like I'm never going to need to pose an extreme sleeve like this, you know, if it's just a regular sleeve. But here it works pretty good. All right, undo. Okay, so let's take a look at how we did Jon Snow's arm, right? Because see too, Jon Snow, I didn't do that. I just have these back pieces, which works perfectly for this rig, you know? So it's just kind of what you're rigging. Sandra, you're still here. I thought you went to bed. Okay, so let's take a look how we did this. Constraints. Constraint peg. That's the first one. So there's the elbow. And we plug the elbow into the 2-point constraint into the forearm. Okay. So it's even good practice to set it up from scratch. So sleeve, wrist. I need the elbow. Where's the elbow? This is going to be my thing. So 2-point constraint. Let's focus on the lower part of the arm. So I'm going to plug this in there. I want this constraint to affect the sleeve down. I actually want it to affect all of this. So I'm going to plug it in up here. Okay. Uh-oh. What did that do? And then I need the wrist. Right? Because there's 2 pegs. There's one and the wrist nail. Thanks. I appreciate that. It's nice. It's nice that people watch, you know? It's more fun. Okay, so where is our wrist? Forearm, wrist, wrist. So see, I don't think I'm going to connect this anymore. I don't think I'm going to connect it like that. Boom. Okay, so we did the hand and wrist. Now, what should happen when we click this, right? You see that? That's this. That's this peg that's doing that, this pivot point. So I can reset, and I'm going to put a backdrop, and we'll call this wrist nail. Now here, this comes the other way, right? See how it's taking the elbow with it? We're on the right track. That's what we want. And I'm going to call this, whoops, elbow nail. Okay. I'm actually going to get rid of this peg because we don't really need it anymore. And what I forgot to do too, guys, I'm going to go here and do project to plane for flatten type, not 3D transform. Because this might screw up. Oh no, we're fine. Okay. So we're here. First constraint, first constraint. Now we need another constraint on top of everything. So 2-point constraint. Like, how did I do it? On top of my elbow nail. So instead of going up here, I got this. And now this arm, I need a peg here and here to kind of like combine everything. So I'll plug this in to this. I'm missing a constraint though, I think. I think I had 2. Yeah. Yes, yes, yes. So before I do this, I need another 2-point constraint. Because we got this, right? We have, sorry, our lower arm squishiness, but now we need our upper arm squishiness. So I'm going to plug this into here. I want my constraint to affect my sleeve. And then I also want this pivot point to affect that. So now the elbow affects the up and down. See that? We have like an elbow moving. And let me know, guys. Ask questions if you need to, because it's hard to even see on my screen what is what. But basically, all constraints are kind of just pegs. The pivot points of each peg pulls the artwork in a certain way you want, right? So if I select this one, I'm going to go shoulder nail. I bring it from here. Right? If this wasn't plugged in, I would only do this, right? So that's where we should be. Top, elbow, and bottom. Right? And the next constraint, that's going to make this piece and this piece move the whole arm. Because right now we can only move the upper arm, we can only move the bottom arm. So now we're going to take these nails again and plug them in. 1, 2 to our 2-point constraint. So the nails can control different pieces at the same time, basically. So you don't have to make a new nail every time you make a new constraint. My wrist nail controls all of this. See that? I can reset. My shoulder nail controls all of this now. Reset. My elbow nail controls this. Now you're going to notice, guys, like, look, it's pretty wonky, right? Things are flying all over the place. It doesn't really stay on model, doesn't stay connected. And this is where we adjust the settings and we add some transformation limits. Okay, so first things first. Let's do project to plane. That's what we want. Project to plane. That's what we want. Right? The actual constraints themselves aren't too important. It's more the nails is that what we want to highlight. Because as the animator, that's what we're going to be selecting. Okay, so now I need to see what I did because I can't remember. So you'll see this constraint. We have 100, 100, 100, 100, and everything else is 0. Okay. And like, if I'm being totally honest, I don't really understand what these do fully. Like, sometimes I get it, sometimes I don't understand what's going on. So I kind of just stick to what I did in the past until, for now. But it just has to do with like keeping things on model. So 1, 2, 3, distance max, volume in, volume max 100. Okay, close. And then this one also had a transformation limit, I think. No, it didn't. This one had a limit. So let's look at our second constraint. 175, 100, 100. Okay. 175, 100. So I think usually you adjust the volume max and min. That's kind of like how much it stretches and squashes. And you'll see the difference when we come back. I'm just going to put it to 100. There we go. And like, there's no right or wrong way to do this. It just kind of, you just play around with it, I guess. See? So suddenly, without all that squashing and stretching, our arm pretty much is perfect. And that's because we set it up like we did before. So I got a C2. So I'm noticing my hand doesn't come with anything, but I wonder why. Because yeah, I have to rethink that. But now let's add our transformation limit. So this from the tutorial I watched, it was uh, there's some trouble with Z depth, and this kind of limits that, I think. So we got 100, 100, 100. That's it, and everything else is 0. So we have a limit. And that goes, where did I put this? The constraint peg right over my elbow. And I think this helps too, guys, to like bend the elbow. Everything is 0 except that. And then you see this, I plug it in here. So with the transformation limit, if I don't plug this peg into anywhere, then like it is always limited no matter how high I step up in the rig. But when I do this, it's telling Toon Boom, okay, after this peg, I'm going to just put everything back to normal, basically. And what you can do is you press this button up here, show controls, and you kind of move this pivot point around this area. So now we can kind of move it a little bit and it works a little bit better. For the arm, personal preference, like I don't know why, but the elbow doesn't bend when I move it up. But for me, I like that with the arm because if I'm foreshortening this, I have so much freedom to kind of do what I want and then bend the elbow myself. So I like it that way. Okay, and that's it, guys. That's a constraint. I think what we can figure out now, or any questions, anything I'm doing wrong, you can do better, let me know. Oh yeah, I forgot. We can add controllers, but first things first. I just need to rethink this hierarchy. So this is actually the same pivot point. And that's connected to this. Right? And all these pegs, guys, you can still move the pegs. Like, look, if I need to move this individually, I still can, which is nice about this method. I just need to think, how do I want this? Because if I go like this, oh, that might be it. That might be it. Because now if I move this, the hand moves with it. But maybe I don't even want the hand to move with it. Like, look, it's getting kind of weird. So maybe, guys, maybe I don't do that. Maybe I go back to this. And then if I just move my, yeah, I don't think I want the hand to move with the elbow. There we go. I just have to be careful. If I move this too much, then I know my hand, that's too much. We just can't do it like that. Yeah. Honestly, it's something that you kind of have to try. I'm still working on getting the tutorial right for this because it's a hard subject and I want to make sure that it's clear when I explain it on my videos. So that's why it's taking a little bit longer. But I just wanted to show you guys a live kind of thing just to kind of practice a little bit, you know? I think the last thing we've been doing this, not even 2 hours, that's good, is let's add some OGL controllers. So you just search OGL controller. They're so easy. They're handles. You don't have to make handles anymore. We'll go one for the wrist. I'm just going to create another comp for that for all my controllers. Right, we can go setup mode, and I'm going to just move this kind of wherever I want. I can make it a little bit smaller. And now watch, I don't even have to go into my node view. I click the controller, and now I'm using the constraint. So same here. Let's do OGL controller. I'm just going to plug this in to my comp. Right? I can put this somewhere where the elbow is. And if I want, I can go 0.1 in the Z axis, so it's always in front. I can even flatten this composite. There's no need for it to be a pass-through. Whoops. Don't know what I just did there. Oh no. What? Okay. But yeah. Did anyone see this is kind of old news now, but the new Toon Boom pricing? They got rid of those perpetual licenses. Now they're doing 3 or 4 year things. I did the math. So right now you pay 180 bucks a month, which comes up to like 200 bucks a month. But if you do the 4 year one, it's more like 120 bucks a month, probably a little bit more with taxes and stuff. So I really need to start saving up. It's like $4,000. It's like 4,500 bucks. But I think that's the way to do it. It's gonna be hard, but I think I'll be saving a lot of money in the long run. Because dude, Toon Boom is just killing me every month. It's crazy how much they charge now. And this one's not as important because I'm really never, maybe if I want to shrug the shoulders a little bit, but I normally just use, these two. Right? And with the OGL controllers, guys, I'm literally just tapping, dragging, tapping. It's so easy to use. Yeah, maybe be like Kelly and use Blender and Moho. he's the smart one of the pack. And that's it, guys. A few things, I don't know why. Hang on, let me turn this off and see how it looks. I don't know why that kind of reset the Z depth for this, but it still works. So that's fine. Actually, wait a minute. It's supposed to be like that because if this is off, then that's that proper. Okay. And then you just do it on the other side. You can try and duplicate it. I think it could work, but you know. Oh my god, I'm so happy. I'm so happy we finished this, guys. Was a surprisingly productive live stream. I thought I was gonna get stuck on the cuffs. I'm so happy we finished this. Sarah, anime. Hey, dude, how are you? Long time no see. Actually, we saw you on the last stream. That's good. Yeah, Moho is good. I think some of the I'm a little bit torn. I think overall animation rigging, Toon Boom has it beat. If you just focus on rigging, it has some pretty cool tools, especially like the smart bones and stuff. Toon Boom has the same tools. You can do it in the master controllers, but it seems like it's a lot faster and easier to manipulate or to edit in Moho. The rigging tools are basically the same in both programs. It's just how they're presented and how you use them. Some people might like Moho better. Animation wise, I think Toon Boom has the edge there, just because, and this is just my personal preference. For no other reason than you can keyframe all of these things at the same time, and it only shows up as one keyframe on your timeline. I think Moho, you have to keyframe them separately. Like Spine, you have to keyframe them separately. And for me, I can't wrap my head around it. I think even in 3D, that's how it works too. But for me, Toon Boom, that's a really great feature there. But yeah, Moho is cheaper. It's a one-time license as well. So okay, guys. So maybe next week, I'm gonna polish this up off camera, kind of fix these little imperfections. Maybe just adjust some things. But next week, we can try and do the legs. The legs might be a little bit difficult for this guy. I still got to figure out how they're gonna work. But constraints on the legs are so useful, especially for walks. I never thought they would be, but moving characters across the screen with constraints is so much easier. Oops. Hey, can I ask you? Yeah, sure, dude. Ask anything you want. Yeah, these last 5 minutes, guys, ask any questions you want. I'm pretty much done. We can try and clone this, actually. Let's do that and see what happens. So we have the constraints. It might not work. Nodes, clone. And let's see what happens to our constraints. Okay. Here. Whoops. Undo that. What on the earth? Oh, see? So look. It's not even working. So what I need to do, sorry, what you should do, this is the nail peg. I'm going to create another peg on top and call this the arm master. Okay, it's going to have the same pivot point, but it's not going to be connected to any constraints. So I should be able to, what the hell is going on here? Here. There we go. I should be able to move things. So both nails need to be connected. Okay, what's the question? Various objects when I don't be in section mode, the color was blue. When I be in selection mode, it was yellow, but in this version, I can't. When I press any drawing layer. So you can't select anything? Like you're talking about this. If I click this to select my drawings, is that what you're talking compared to this to select my animation? Is that what you're talking about? Okay. So actually, this could work. Let's see. If I flip it, ooh, it flips. I might just have to move my OGL controllers. Let's put that static transformation. This might be where it messes up. Actually, it shouldn't, because it's only baking the immediate parent. I just got to redo this. Okay, so it does work. It seems you can clone the arms. That's good to know. Now I need to know what is different between the peg and drawing layer when I be in the camera. So, okay. So for example, let's go here. Hand, right? We got our hand peg and our hand drawing layer. The drawing layers, here, let me move this so you guys can see. Are made up of different like line art, overlay, color, underlay, right? And I can't, if I want to adjust it, I need to press one of these black arrows. So I click this. Let's say I move something like this. That drawing is changed. But now I can also move the peg with this button here. Right? So the drawing changes forever. The peg can be animated. Right? Unless you're doing like cutout. Then you animate on the drawing layers. Ah, I know exactly your problem. Go to your tool properties. It's one of these. Do you have this clicked? Peg selection mode. Because this way, if this is clicked, you cannot select the drawing layer. Or at least that's how it should be. Yeah, see? If I click on my camera view, I can't select any drawing layers. I have to go in and click. So check if this is on. That might be the first problem. I'm talking about color in the square. If we're not helping, maybe send me a screenshot in the Discord channel so I can actually see what your node view looks like. Does anyone else have any questions about what we did today? If not, guys, I think I'm going to call it here. We actually did a lot. So it's a good complicated way to rig an arm. But like I said before, sleeves like this, I don't see a better way of doing it. And constraints, you don't need. So you could set up this arm, guys, without constraints. You don't need them. You can put them on if you want. It's kind of personal preference. In a studio, nobody really uses constraints from what I've seen. Only one studio I've worked for uses constraints consistently in their rigs. I kind of like it. I think more and more people are going to start using it. Yeah. So keep in mind. I know that I'm talking about the color in the camera, the yellow line, press on the back, the blue line, not inspection of the drawing layer. Yeah, honestly, man, send me a couple of screenshots. And if not, if those don't help, maybe we could jump on a video call and you can share your screen with me. Because right now it's hard for me to kind of visualize what you're saying. All right. Sound fair? Thanks, dude. All right, guys. Have a good one, guys. Thanks for jumping on. Haven Art, always good to see you, man. Nicholas, always good to see you. Sheriff Animations, you always have great questions, man. Glad you caught on the last bit of the stream. All right, guys. Take it easy.